All right, guys, welcome back to Commission Reviews. Hit that like button and subscribe. Have you joined the membership yet? What are you guys waiting for? All right, guys. Also, super thanks, super chats. Hit that Cash App. Oh, yes, I said it again. Why not advertise myself? I am a business. I am that brand. Support content creators. We need the love, baby. With that being said, get your drink poured or whatever you got to do because you know we're going to throw shade and a whole lot of laughs is going to happen. Talk to you later. Bye. All right, guys, we about to get started. As you see, I am your bartender for the day, getting the drinks ready for the show. Oh, you gonna need a drink for this one. What you drinking on? I got vodka, I got something brown and nasty. I got whatever you need to make you chill or to get you completely lit. What is it? Tell me all about it. Because you know this show is gonna be a mess, fun, and more. All right, what you drinking on, baby? I got you. Yeah, I know y'all at work watching me. Yeah, you better hurry up, hit that like button, subscribe before your boss come around the corner. Hey girl, we still going to lunch? Cause I'm hungry. First of all, I want to apologize. See, let me tell y'all about Kamisha Reviews. I am a grinder. Period. So sometimes when I come on here, I just got off of work. Just got off of work. Barely sat down, take a shower, put some food in my mouth, whatever. And I want to say, through all of that, this is what I love to do. If I had a choice of doing one thing and the bills were paid and etc., it would be this producing, creating, all those types of things. So for me, it's worth it. It's worth it. And I'm sorry, yeah, I didn't know I was gonna do all this, but my girls are late anyway, so fluff. Like I say all the time. But anyway, it's worth it. I love doing it. And it's gonna be positive for me at the end. So I just gotta keep, pushing. So my chicas más tarde. I don't know. I don't know where they at. Okay. They actually would remind me to get the live together. And I'm like, I'm running behind. And I see they're just not seeing my group message. Yes, I am live. Let me record this. Record what I'm saying is. I want you guys to hear this in the group. I am live right now. Where are you? Okay, send. Now send. Now I was actually about to get to the part that I know that everybody wants to actually talk about. I literally, I'm so behind that I got to watch maybe the first 40 minutes of the episode. Let me know if you can hear me because this mic I have is super powerful, and when I get too close to y'all, it's like so loud. And I haven't gauged it where I'm like, I like this sound. I really haven't. Even when I look at this extra thing I bought that costs money, that I can see if it's too loud or whatever. I don't know the name of it, but even where I'm at now, I feel like it's too loud because it's getting red. Anyway, I didn't even get a chance to see the fight. First, let me start there. But the fight. The whole thing that I really was trying to get to was that part. But there was parts in it that I was watching that I wanted to talk about. Since the girls are not here, then I'm going to start with the beginning. The beginning is when I was watching the situation with little Jamie and his, his parents and everything. And hold on. Lee is here. What's up, boo boo? Girl, I was just telling everybody the crazy story about how I'm a grinder. I work too much, and it was a struggle to. This is a struggling life. I literally just gave them the message that I was live. Lee, you here? Queen of DC? By the way, y'all gave her that name. Can you hear me, mama? Wait a minute. Oh, dear God. Can't she hear me? Can y'all hear me in the chat? In the chat, can y'all hear me? Hey, Avita Boo Boo. Please let me know if you can hear me in the chat. Hold on just a second.
Hey, can you hear me? Okay, you can't hear me?
I'm so sorry about that. I got a phone call right when, oh my Lord, I'm so sorry. I was trying to tell you to coach, but I'm sorry. Lord have
No,
mercy.
it's okay. You were muted, and when I first got on, I was like, "Is my
I was
audio
telling you
working?"
to, I was telling you to talk.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, "Well, maybe she can't hear me." Okay. All right.
Lord have mercy. So okay, there's a lot of people get on crazy, but okay, it's all good. Um, Lord have mercy. So wait, hold on. Oh, Jesus. So I was talking about. I want you to tell me first of all what I was talking about was the whole situation with Jamie when little Jamie was there and everything. I started giving my views about it, and one thing I will say is that I liked how Big Jamie was trying to tell him that you know going to counseling is not going to be just for you. It's going to be also for me as well. And he was trying to tell me that the first time he didn't want to listen. And I'm so happy that he finally got to hear it, that it's not just for you, it's for me.
Yeah, I agree with you because I think initially when they first, like the beginning of the intervention or whatever you want to call it, it was a little tough because he was very just closed to everything, and he just had a way of and you know how when people get depressed, not always when they're
Yeah.
depressed, but when people get depressed, a lot of times they will take, you know, if you feel a kind of way already, then no matter what someone says to you, you hear something that's in your own head. So they weren't really saying all those things. They were like, "Oh, you know, we want to see you do better." But then he sat down on the stairs and was like, "Oh, I'm the worst kid. I'm this, I'm that." And they didn't say that. And that's not what they were saying. So he was kind of already in a place where kind of, you know, anything that they said, he was going to take it a certain kind of way, which happens when you're like depressed or whatever. So I did see the point of, you know, I'm glad that when they finally got him to sit down and listen, because he wouldn't even let them really finish, you know, saying, "Well, no, it's not just about you, it's about both of us." So I'm glad that they were able to convince him because, you know, he was kind of in a place where he wasn't hearing them and he needed to hear it from the therapist, really.
Well, for me, for a man to say that even on TV or to everyone else, that's a hard pill, you know. And I just really liked how it was handled, even to the point of going, you know, because the fact when it was at the, you know, the mom and everybody was there, and they, you know, he got emotional. I like that part too because, you know, it's coming off to me when Quick talks about his son and how he's raising them. That's wonderful how because everyone's different. The part that rubbed me the wrong way is when Quick makes a reference to little Jamie. You know, maybe little Jamie was a good guy before whatever, but you know, like I'm not gonna let my son go that way. You can't predict the future or how a child's gonna come out to be. I don't give a care how much you love or give money or whatever. You know, it's not up to you. Then that person, that child's gonna have to live their life.
Exactly. I agree. And also, I was thinking about this actually after the episode. This is really the first episode that I can think of where we really see Quick and Ashley really doing parenting. Like they talk about the kids and what they do with the kids, but they don't really show a lot of they show their relationship, but they don't really show a lot with their children. Like I'm not even sure how many kids they have, honestly. So they don't really, this is the first time where they really showed that. So my thing is, I mean, I know they've known each other for a long time, but if you're not in somebody's household, you can't really pass that judgment, you know, to be honest. So that kind of, I don't feel like they're in a place to say, "Oh, well, he's spoiled, but my son's not going to be." And it's like, dude, you know, your kids, who's to say, but they all had stuff. So until you show us some, you know, we don't really know what's going on, you know, and I don't think he's in a place to really um pass judgment because their children are growing up, you know, they might not be entitled, I guess, or whatever, but they're growing up, you know, privileged as well. So this is just the nature of, you know, if you struggle to come along and then your kids have everything, then you don't know what's going to happen.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, but that like I said, that really rubbed me the wrong way. The way that just the way that that was handled. You understand what I'm saying? I just think that that sucks, in my opinion. I don't know. I don't
You
know. I
mean
just
you
think
mean Silva passing judgment on how Jamie is
yes,
father?
yes.
Yeah.
I don't like that. It just I feel like there's something with that, man. Like every time something happens, like to me, I didn't feel the need for him to be robbing the conversation. He was talking about his son and how he was afraid his son was going to turn out or whatever, and how such because I actually agree with Quick when he said everyone is one bad decision away. I actually agree with that because that's a true statement for a man or for a woman. One decision can make you lose your job. One decision can make you be on the street. Uh, one decision can make you get in trouble without knowing about it. You know, maybe you got in a backseat of a car riding with somebody, didn't know if they got pulled over. They had something you had no idea about, and you're involved with something you have never ever done. These things
Right.
happen in real life. So when he said that, well, that's some real stuff. But then when he said, little Jamie Baby was a good kid, I was just like, why? You were doing so well. What was the purpose of breaking that child's name up for? What? I mean,
Yeah.
not child, he's a grown man, but I'm saying, what was the purpose of saying his name? Is what I'm saying. Why? To make reference to what? You're talking about your child and what you want him to be and what you're trying to.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I think the only point I was trying to make is even though they've been friends for a long time, I mean, you shouldn't be making those comparisons because you're not in their house. He's not in their house. So you don't really know. You know what I'm saying? Like what would cause little Jamie to turn out how he did or didn't turn out. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole bunch of factors. So you need to just be worried about you and your family.
No, I agree. I agree with that also. I agree with that also. Girl, I don't know. I'm not even saying that Quick's coming from bad places.
No, I don't think it's a bad
I don't
place, but
think
I
it's
just
that.
feel like you have
But
to
it's like a
watch
little
yourself.
arrogant tone. I feel like it's like a little arrogant tone where he's like, you know, maybe Jamie was a good kid at one time, and I was just like, damn, okay.
Right.
So anyway, I'm happy they got the counseling. I thought that was real positive. Like I love when they show mental health. You have to show the bad because there is bad, and I don't want to say bad as an adjective really, but just the down ups and downs of that or whatever. There's other way I could say it, but and this is an up to me because they're just choosing to go to counseling to have conversations to talk things out, and I don't know. I just feel like that raising a kid is hard. It takes a village. Sometimes other people tell you things that you may not want to hear. It might work out. I just kind of hope that it's a positive, it's a received positive because I felt like it rubbed him the wrong way the last time he said something. So I just feel like I hope it's not gonna be a reoccurring thing where they're like kind of comparing like, oh, this is how because I see he is coming of age. Quick son, I didn't realize he was that of age. I don't know why I thought Quick son was like way younger than that. I
Well,
was like, oh,
that's
he
my
has
point. That's exactly my point. We
okay.
don't really see them with the children. This is really the first time I can recall really seeing them sort of. The kids are kind of sort of in the background. So I'm kind of like, okay, this is the first time that they're really putting their actual, you know, children and that whole relationship on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, y'all can't really say anything to the Tylers because they've been laying it down from the beginning. You know what I mean? So we
Right.
always, so it's like, okay. And I agree with you. To me, I feel like, okay, y'all may be cool, but you don't have any place to pass judgment, really. Because your kids are definitely, you haven't shown us, so we don't know, but your kids definitely grew up privileged. So.
Yeah, for sure. I'll say that too. And not in a really and not in like a really bad way, like it's a bad thing because you had money and or you had enough money to take care of your kids and they could live, just the same really, really and truly the same thing that Jamie said over and over again about coming up in that time because I was a 90s kid and growing up in that time period for me, man, I was middle class. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't know. I had to see things on TV, to be fair, of, really crazy stuff. I mean, I say I didn't, see stuff with it. I'm not gonna say that, because we was a military kid, so I saw other things that was crazy. But still, when I would talk to certain kids or be in certain environments, I would be kind of lost in space a little bit because I didn't know that experience as a black girl. I didn't, even though I'm a dark or brown or whatever, whatever. I didn't know that experience that a lot of kids would be familiar with. Even the black experience was different for me. So it's a whole thing of calling a kid privilege. It's just like, to me, a different experience because
Well,
how a
it's a
person,
different.
you know
Go
what I'm
ahead.
saying? You understand what I'm saying? Like I used to get called like white girl and stuff like that, and like, it was like a joke. And I guess it must have bothered me because I bring the story up often, as an adulthood. So I guess it must have, it bothered me, like, why? Because I didn't take it as a positive. I took it as like a knock. You understand what I'm saying? Like, okay, I'm a
Mhm.
kid. It's like, okay, why you said I'm talking this certain? I'm just talking the way I was taught or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
so when they take a child and say they're privileged or they have a certain thing or they're raised in the ghetto or unprivileged or whatever, it's like, man, I don't know. I've always taken issue with that. I always have. So I don't know. Um, a kid will come out how they come out. A kid can come out of a really poor household and come out to be the president or something like that. And somebody who came from a privileged household could end up being a bum when they're like an adult or we find out they're on drugs. I'm just saying, there's no book to this. That's all I'm saying. I ain't mean to ramble.
Right.
I'm just
And all
saying.
I was saying is that if children are privileged, like the children of sort of, which not quite them, but they might get there eventually, but like the children of superstars, like to me, I think of like T.I. and Tiny. Their children face different challenges, but they still face
Mm-hmm.
challenges. So that's the thing.
True.
When you grow up and you always have everything and, but you still trying to halfway be hood or whatever, it's a different challenge than someone who grows up with, who grows up and people are shooting on your block. Everybody has their challenges to bear, is really my only point. So if they're so privileged children do have to face this. What am I going to do to be on my own, to get out of my parents' shadow, to make a name for myself, or not if you don't want to or whatever. But you do face that challenge of if you have everything given to you, you don't have that same hunger that your parents had. So, so I do feel like people who are really wealthy have to teach their children sort of, what it is to earn a dollar or to, how are you going to contribute to the society, really? And I think every parent has their own challenge given whatever situation they're in. So,
Wow. All right, I want to move on to, for some reason, the story that stuck out to me was Joy, and is her name, with the pretty juicy girl. I call her Juicy because she got hips like me. Sherelle, is that her name? I won't say her name
yeah, I
right.
think it's
Okay.
Sherelle or Sherella or something.
No, I don't think it's Sherelle. I think it's Sherelle. I cannot stand for my name mispronounced. Yeah, I just can't stand for my name to be said. I hate it. It's struggle. It's a struggle for me because my name is Kamisha. It really pronounced Kamisha, yeah, but I just say whatever. So anyway, okay. So I tried to look at it a couple of ways. Wait, hold on. Hold on. Okay, I'm sorry.
No
So
worries.
anyway, I'm sorry. So people keep telling me come something going on at work. I'm so sorry about that. This is like never happened before. But anyway, so I try to look at it one way. So for her, she protecting her husband. And I'm like, we got to be honest as women. If someone is coming for our husband, but this is the part I take issue. I understand that Arena said it or whatever. I can't remember how to even, I just watched it, but I don't even remember how that conversation even got started. But I know she said whatever. And then Windsor was like, oh, well, she didn't say that. Well, you're being messy because you don't like Arena. Let's keep it real. You're being messy because you don't like her. Why did you? Now, granted, I don't remember what she said. because
Wait,
both
wait,
of
hold
them.
on. Are you saying Joy doesn't like Arena or
No, no, no,
Sherelle?
no. Remember when Sherelle was talking to you? Remember Sherelle and Winter was talking about went to her little divorce party, whatever, and she
Oh,
was
right.
saying get the football team here, and then they were talking about the whole thing when she told her about what she said, Joy said, and she was
Hmm.
all pissed off and getting like she's all rah rah and da 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 like I can't believe it and dramatic and you
Yeah.
know
And Winter was like, well, why did Arena believe it, bring it to you or
well,
whatever?
first
Yeah.
thing Winter said was she didn't say that. And then Joy
Mm.
also said the one thing she didn't say, which was shady, I think is what it was. But Winter was like, she didn't say it like that. She didn't say that. And I said, Winter said that because she doesn't like Arena. So to me,
Right.
she's not a fair, like, just listen. She should have been just a listener and be like, you know. But I guess you're trying to say, because Joy said she didn't say one word, which Joy said, I didn't say it, but I felt like he was shady or whatever. So she wouldn't like make a big deal about it. But I feel like they're trying to say, because I didn't watch the end of it. So
Oh, okay.
I assume they got like whatever. So I got it right there on that part. And I'm feeling like this. Arena, I'm not saying she's messy, but I'm gonna say for Sherelle, I think she took it way too far, in my opinion. For it shouldn't have been all of that. It's like, why? I didn't think it was that serious. Because to me, it's like you weren't part of the band. Yes, that's your man, I get it. But that was a part of his life that you was in the beginning stages. Y'all were getting to know each other, y'all was falling in love. She was knowing him on the business level prior to you. You're hearing what he says. You're gonna believe what he says. You weren't in the band. You and I and the girls looked up. Remember, I looked it up. They was a
Hmm.
real. They was really. I To me, I tripped out because they were really like a band. Like watching Ready to Love this whole time and comments about an interview, having her on here, talking to her. I had no idea that her band was really they was that band. Like I was like, wow. So when she broke down the story, Joy did, and to me, listening to Joy, I don't know why I believe her. To me, she doesn't give me. I'm gonna make this up. From watching the show, it would have been come out by now if Joy was known to be a liar, and you know it. As messy as please, it would have been came out the Joy character was like. It does not come out like that. Most people that I've talked to that knows Joy or spoke about Joy or whatever, it's always been the same thing.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm not a huge Joy fan or whatever, but
Yeah.
I do feel like I'm glad she finally said it because I think from the beginning of this season, she was never very clear. So at first
Okay.
she was like, "Oh, he's manipulative, he whatever," and then at one point she made it seem like it was around about her friend, and and I was like, "Oh, okay." So finally, she just said, "Okay, this is what happened." Boom, and so once she explained it, yeah, it made sense. Like, okay, if we have a group that was hot and the group that went on tour, then why are you going to break that up for these other two people for whatever reason? And so that made sense. Why she would be upset if he's like, okay, well, if we don't do it my way, I'm gonna quit. That explanation made sense. It was like, oh, okay, now I understand why you hate him or whatever, especially if you had a tour and had other really big opportunities. So, it makes sense that you can't stand him. What I didn't understand was one, I agree with you. Like, I don't, from what I recall, Arena met with Joy. Winter wasn't even there. So it's like, you don't know what was said, like, why are you, yeah, just keep quiet. And that whole scene with Winter felt very like produced, tangential to the storyline. Like, she's, she's not really bringing even what she brought last season, to be honest. And then the whole I'm gonna keep
Period.
calling them football team and
I
football,
don't
like
get it. I
it's
don't
like
get
this.
it.
No, I think what she's saying is she's trying to reference, or she's trying to come up with a line like from Love and Marriage Huntsville. So remember they called the mistresses linebackers. And so that's just kind of was their thing. So then Martell and them, whatever. That's just the line that carried through several seasons. So I think she's trying to kind of her little spin on that is to call them football players, which is just coming off dumb and stupid because it's not authentic. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes. Yes.
you're trying to come up, you know what I mean? Just go back to making those crazy songs or t-shirts or something. I don't know. But yeah, so that whole thing, calling them football, you know, so, and it's like, okay, you don't like them. Why do you need them to come to your event? Why was that scene even there? I wasn't even sure. And then with Sherelle, when she met with Joy, the issue I have with Sherelle is she seems like, I can understand being upset because someone is saying whatever about your husband. But when Joy kind of explained it to her or was like, well, I knew him before you, she didn't really get any clarity from Joy. Really, she just wanted to know, did he say, you know, did you say he was shady or not? No, he's not shady. But if she said he's manipulative and untrustworthy, you know what I'm saying? Like, they all have a point. Like, that is basically shady, and the way he was moving. So it seemed like Sherelle was sort of looking to keep this argument going to kind of make herself, you know, relevant to the storyline, honestly. Because it was like, okay, if you cool with Joy, then what does Arena have to do with it? Like, why would you still be mad at Arena? You know what I'm saying? So that was the thing. So then when they go to Quick's, you know, she brings it up at Quick's, you know, the naming or whatever of this street. And she's like, well, you need to say her exact words. Well, bitch, you know, I'm not a tape recorder. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
this isn't a voice recorder. I wasn't taping her. But basically, and that's the thing. Once Joy said in the confessional, I didn't use the word shady, but he is shady. That's it. You know what I'm saying? And then honestly, Arena was trying to explain to her, like, okay, she said he was unethical. To me, those words are just as bad, if not worse, than shady anyway. So, you know, I can see her being upset about her husband, but it's like, if you're not going to defend actually what Joy is saying he did, or, oh, and then Joy made a good point. Like, we need to discuss it when all the parties are present. She did say that when she was sitting down with Sherelle, and I think that's valid because it's like, why is she gonna go back to Sherelle with some stuff that her husband did?
Yeah, I mean that was, girl. I really, sometimes I just don't even. It was just, I don't know. I just didn't understand it. You can so upset about a man that you don't know what's going on in that time period, and it was his past before you.
Right, exactly. And she was like, oh, well, you know, people grow, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
Well,
she did say that.
and but Joy made the point, like, well, what is it you want from me? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, people grow, but you asking me why I can't stand him. It's not because of his growth, it's because of what he did. Like, I don't care if people grow or not. If you treated me like trash 3 years ago, that don't change what you did, you know? So your husband, you know, maybe he can grow and come apologize. But as far as I'm concerned, growth or not, this is what you did. So, and she didn't really ever kind of address that. And so, I mean, and maybe honestly, this is the first time I've really seen him talk and stuff. So in this episode, so maybe he will be addressing it eventually or whatever, hopefully. But I think that's a good point. Like, maybe he has grown, but then, you know, then he should just apologize for what he did. Like, I don't know. It's not that deep. I mean, it is deep, obviously, but even if he has grown, that doesn't change that Joy was hurt financially, her career, and probably in a lot of ways by his actions, whether he's grown or not, you know.
Yeah, I agree with that. Girl, I don't know. It is it is what it is, child. It's it is what it is with all that. But let's go ahead and move on to. I didn't even get to see the alleged big boom, 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 boom. So I mean, you can tell me what happened. What
Well,
people holding people back?
basically, it was at the very end. So
I knew
basically,
it was.
Silva is, it's on his birthday, which I think is November 24th, I guess. And so they're naming the street after him, and they're saying it's Silva Day or whatever. And so everybody's there. Arena, I don't recall if Winter was there or not, but Joy is from Baltimore, so she's going to be there with Clifton, and then so everybody's there. So Sherelle is like, "Oh, I'm feeling something, but this isn't the place." And so then Quick, the mayor's there, so Quick, he has some tears and gives a little speech and stuff, and his grandmother's there, and that was kind of really cute because he is really emotional because both of his parents have passed, and he just wished they could have seen this or whatever. And
Yeah.
it's such an inspiration, blah blah blah. So then kind of like at the close, they're Sherelle walks up and Joy's standing there next to Arena or whatever, and she's like, "Look, I don't want to play he say she said or whatever, but I talked to Joy, and Joy didn't say the word shady or whatever." Mm-hmm. And so then it goes to like from 0 to 1,000 real quick. So Joy doesn't really say anything. So Joy is quiet because Joy is kind of like, "Oh, this is Silva's thing, so I didn't really say anything because then it would have been 3 women going off instead of 2." So Arena was kind of like straight with it. She was like, "Okay, well, maybe she didn't use the word shady, but she said unethical." She said all these different things that were like crazy and horrible and unethical, not trustworthy. I forgot, but she said 3 different things that Joy said, even if and all those things amount to being shady. Okay. And Sherelle was like, "Nah, if you're gonna bring something, you need to bring her exact words. I don't care about that." And I'm looking like, "You don't care?"
Who said that?
Sherelle. She's like, "I don't care about that other stuff. You said shady, and she didn't say shady." And so that's why I was saying it kind of seemed, it was just a kind of a stupid argument because I'm looking like, she just said your husband was unethical. Like, how is that not better than, how do you not care about that, but shady is an issue? So that's the part that had me like totally confused, because I was like, okay, did she just want to be screaming on TV? Like, what is she talking about? So yeah, so then they start, and so then Arena was like, Arena was really trying to explain to her, but no, these are the things that Joy actually said, which, I gave you, I did interpret it. She was honest. She was like, "Yeah, I did say," maybe she didn't say the exact word shady, but she said all these other things. And then Sherelle was like, "No, I don't care about that. If you're going to bring something to me, you need to bring her exact words, bring her words or whatever." And so then it just, blew up and got crazy. And then I think that's when Arena was like, "Don't nobody like you anyway," which honestly, like, I liked her at first, but this thing with Arena just seemed, because really Arena just brought to you what Joy said. She's, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, now you shooting the messenger. Like, really? Is it that, but you okay with Joy though? Like, that's the part where I'm like, what? So, so they kind of like get pulled apart, and then you cut to Ashley and her confessional, because Ashley is kind of mad at both of them, of course, for ruining her husband's day, because it's like, okay, this is his thing. Why would you do this here? So then in the previews, they show Ashley, Joy, and Arena, and they're talking about basically Ashley is telling Arena like, "Oh, okay, basically like, you should have walked away because it was my husband's thing." And then they have, I don't know if it was a divorce party, maybe it was a divorce party, so they have something and somebody is like, "Oh,
they went to the divorce party." Yes. Or just a preview?
No, this is a preview. Okay. Black wife wanted camera time. Yes, exactly. Like, that's what it seemed like, because the argument seemed so stupid, because I was like, why are you arguing with Arena?
So she got mad at Arena because the fact that she actually didn't say shady. Hey, Lisa.
Exactly. Absolutely. Even though she said all these other horrible things, even though when she had,
so because she didn't say shady, but Joy said in her confessional, she said, "No, I didn't say it, but I
exactly.
think
He's
he's
shady.
shady or
Right.
whatever.
Exactly. So that's why it was so crazy. But Joy didn't step in because Joy was not standing there not saying nothing. And so not confirming either person. And so but in the confessional, she was like, well, I didn't want to jump in it because then it would be three of us going off and ruining the day, which was
Oh, Joy, no, you.
I mean, she had a point to an extent, but she was probably like,
Come
Bennett,
on,
I ain't
Joy.
get it. Right.
I ain't gonna lie. No, I'm gonna be real. Okay, let me keep it real and let me not even lie. So if it was me and that all that was going on, and to look, where I work at, people are always getting into it, and I have to always kind of jump in and say something. To be honest, I don't think I would have said. I don't know. I say this now, but just like
Yeah,
if I
it's
was with
tough.
y'all, like if I was with you guys, and we were doing like, one day I'm gonna do a meet and greet one day with y'all, and I'm standing there and something is going on, I'm probably gonna step in and say something.
Well,
I
yeah,
don't
because
know,
to me, I
girl.
feel like, all right, Joy, really, what I'm saying, how do you really feel about Black or whatever? So that's the part where it was like, Joy could have stepped in and been like, okay, I didn't say the word shady, but that is what I think. You know what I'm saying? Like, to be honest.
Okay.
And that would have
Okay.
squashed all of it. But
Mhm.
oh no, because here's the thing. I think even when Arena was trying to explain it, the woman Sherelle started cutting her off. I think that's what kind of got Arena heated, because Arena was like, look, let me finish. And so
Okay.
and then Sherelle was like, no, I'm not gonna let you finish. You just call them shady. Why would I let you
Oh,
finish? And it's like,
wait.
okay.
Oh my God. So
Yeah,
who
so then,
called?
so then that
Wow.
had Arena like, nah, if that's how we gonna do it. And so that's kind of how it started to really escalate, because Arena was trying to actually say, she was explaining. And to me, it's like, okay, maybe, because that's the thing. I mean, first of all, that is the nature of when you repeat something.
Mhm.
Very rarely, I mean, it's the game of telephone. Nobody's going to give you the exact words unless they take that person, which would be
Right.
crazy and weird and a totally different show. So
Mhm.
like so it wasn't really that. So that was the part with Sherelle that seemed like Lisa saying here for camera time, because once she said unethical and all these other things, Sherelle's response literally was like, I don't care about that. Oh wait, okay, what is this argument really about then, if it's not about your husband being an unethical business person? Oh no, it's about Arena using the word shady and not exactly repeating verbatim what Joy said. Is that really what this fight is about? So now that looks stupid. So that's kind of, to me, Sherelle lost a lot of points. Not that she had so many points to begin with, but I like her look. I like that she's, thicker or whatever, but she's struggling, I feel like, to kind of be relevant, because it's like she's friends with Winter, but Winter is sort of tangential to the show. And even though she's friends with Ashley, her friendship with Ashley isn't ringing very true either. You know what I mean? Like, she doesn't really seem like I don't know, she's friends with Ashley, so that's how they're saying I think she got on the show, but eh, you know, like Ashley basically treated her like the staff at that party. So it's like, it's hard to see their friendship there. So yeah, so that's kind of how they closed it. And then now one clip that they did have, maybe it wasn't the divorce party, they were someplace, and then Ashley or somebody was like, this was in the clip for the previews, and Ashley was like, I want everybody to put it all out on the table or something. And so then Arena was like, why is Winter here? So I was like, yes, that's how I feel every episode. Why is it Winter here?
Wow.
Oh, and even Ashley was looking crazy at that one. So yeah, so it looks like the next episode is going to be good. Yeah, Sherelle kind of basically just went off on Arena really for no reason. And I think Ashley was kind of upset with both of them just because it was Silva's day or whatever. So
Wow. That's a lot.
now now another thing that they came up on the previews that looks interesting is the guys all do something together. She's scared her husband's going to embarrass her.
I didn't even see she said that. What's up, Lisa? She said they keep bringing it up because they have no storyline. It's been over 10 years. Nobody remembers the group Gumbo. Hey, I'm from Louisiana. Let's not do say Gumbo. I said, or whatever. And I'm tired of Black's wife never letting him speak. You know, that's interesting about her saying that she doesn't let him speak. What do you think about that?
That is interesting. I wasn't sure if it was her or if it was how the show is being produced, but I was like, yeah, he needs to say something because it's really between him and Joy. And to honestly, if he's quote unquote grown, then a grown man would apologize for messing up your bag however many years ago. So so I'm not sure. Yeah, I can't tell if it was really her stopping him from speaking or like we just haven't seen very much of him and he hasn't, they just haven't gotten really any airtime or really any because I think he was there too. He was standing right next to her. So he could have stopped her he could have kind of pulled her aside, or he could have said, he could have done something to squash it too, because really it's about you, dude. So he actually could have done something, I think, to kind of de-escalate the situation because it's really about like him and she's so mad and he could have just, if he had something to say or, he could have said it. But yeah, that's interesting. I have to see more of him on that one to speak on that.
I would like to hear Black. I would really like to hear Black because even though I'm pretty sure he's gonna pretty much say everything his wife says, obviously, but still I want to hear his side and hear it from him because all we have heard is what Joy said. And I would love to hear from the group itself because I really feel like if we really let me tell you something, if we ever have an episode, and I'm so hoping this is going to happen, that the group is going to come together and have this, let's talk about it, or rehearse history. Of course, it's going to be drama with that because that's like going to a family reunion. Like, if you go home, you haven't seen your cousin such and such, and they're looking at you funny, like, why are you even talking? Oh, you've been funny for 10 years, and all of a sudden, a bunch of stuff comes out. Very similar. But a music group always have so many secrets. What happened?
I'm just laughing because at first I was like, wait, what does she mean? That group Gumbo or whatever? And then now I'm like, oh wait, Mambo sauce. That's
oh my god, Erica. Anyway,
I was like, oh my god,
delayed reaction.
Her comment again.
I was like, what I said it was okay. Because
I'm sorry.
But okay, so look, Lisa, let me tell you something, baby. I cannot wait till Gumbo Mambo gets it together, baby. Because when they get together and have their like, this is what happened and this is not what happened, I'm gonna be so. But I'm telling you, the group, if they all say Joy was right in front of him, in front of his wife, I want to see what she's gonna say.
Yes. What Lisa's talking about here, Kamisha, is they showed a preview of all the men. So the same way like Ashley was with join them and all the women got together, the men got together, Black and Clifton. And so they were talking about what happened or whatever. And then Black said something crazy like, Lisa, if you recall, type it. But something Black made some kind of slick comment to Clifton. Clifton must have looked like, wait, what? And so that's gonna be good because it's interesting because men move different.
They do.
But it's always interesting to see when someone Black did say something crazy to Clifton, and that's kind of that little clip that's what I was gonna say too, is that's gonna be interesting to see how they discuss it because at the end of the day, right, exactly. Black was trying to say Joy lying or whatever, and so Clifton was looking like, wait, what? Well, that's right. Because Black said to Clifton something like, well, you may have heard something wrong or something like that. And so Clifton was looking like, what you saying?
Wow.
And so I think and that's the thing. It's like when Joy was standing there and his wife was going off on Arena, Black was there. So if it was some misunderstanding, I mean, maybe that wasn't the place or whatever, but he could have squashed it. So I think at the end of the day, at a minimum, we need to see a scene between Joy and Black. Because if Black's saying she's lying, he needs to be saying it to her face. Yeah, exactly.
What?
Yeah, that now Joy did say that, but
Wait. Yeah, she did say that.
yeah, she did say that. But I think that's the problem is that, like Joy said tonight to Sherelle, I knew him before you did. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So I've known him longer. So so that's how it is with the new person. They're just like, oh, okay, you know,
But
everything smells like roses.
but you gotta be but it does. That new is, yeah. But you gotta be very careful when she said I knew him before you did. She did, but I knew the wife was gonna, or whatever, was gonna get offended immediately. Like, okay, but I know him now. Like, that was like, okay, I knew you were gonna say that. I would have said I knew him before y'all got together, so things may have happened. I knew the ultimatum. Okay, he may have told you his version, but you were in the band. You were in the group meetings when he announced instead of whatever he's gonna do the ultimatum. You don't know the gray area. You know what he wanted you to know because he was falling in love with you and he would not want to paint himself in an ugly light. Let's be clear.
Exactly. And we don't really know. Um, yes, they think they can completely change the person, or in her mind, I guess she thinks he has completely changed. And we don't, I mean, Joy was very general about what really happened. So, you know what I'm saying? So we don't know the two people that fell out at the last minute and the two people that were replaced. Of those four people, I'm assuming her friend was one. You know what I'm saying? So was she the one that he wanted back in the group, or was he the one that he wanted? You know what I'm saying? Did he? Thank you. A man on the road is a different road. So was he messing with her friend while they were on the road, and now they got back? You know what I'm saying? There's probably some
Right.
more drama actually
You know it
was
is. It's
was
a band.
fueling his reason for that change, which kind of just made it even more messy. And so
It's a band. I mean, unfortunately, good and well something else was going on. And maybe she did change him. From the looks of that woman, she looks like she's a strong woman. And from the looks of it, maybe what she did, that punana, she put whatever, and we gonna do it my way. It may have changed him. But before her, he probably was dating both of them. And I'm gonna say something in his defense. They weren't married. And I feel like as women, we kind of forget, okay, yeah, you know that he was somebody else, and then y'all start messing around. Do you actually think he just cut it off before he completely says, you're my woman? And even if he is saying it, he's still dipping in that old stuff a little bit before he just says, okay. Yeah. I'm with you only now. I promise. Only you. And it's true fact. And that's how
exactly.
relationships go. I'm just saying, people should be more honest and real with ourselves. Like, for her to say, now, it was only me. Now, girl, seriously? I'm pretty sure he was going back and forth with old girl for a little bit before he was just like, okay, I'm just go ahead and settle down with you, mama.
Yeah, and I think you can ride for your husband without also having these like stone cold blinders on, because it's some stuff that went on that you had no knowledge of. So really the only thing she can honestly speak on is, oh, he's grown, and just leave it there.
That's why I like Ashley and Quick, because I feel like Ashley as a wife takes Quick for who he is, knows the bad or the whatever, and knows about him and loves him. You know,
Exactly. And
I love the way they are as far as a couple. They're, because they do things differently, and she's tough and everything. But even them talking about their past relationship, the fact they can talk about it now, the way they do, they got a little mad about it, but still, I mean, they have a strong relationship, and I do love that. I do.
I do too. And remember last season, the whole thing with and I think we talked about it where he was busting out a coworker or something on the radio or whatever. I mean, there were things that
Yeah.
happened that she didn't agree with what he was
She did
doing.
not. She
And
did not.
she was strong enough to be like, okay,
She said it on my. Remember, I interviewed her, and
right.
the crazy thing is, she spoke about that. She told me, and I just thought she was so cool when she said it, that she said it because I asked her about it. She said, "Yeah, I called in. I didn't like that." I was like, "Wow, I love that she's like that. She will get on her man, love him, uplift him, and make him feel like a black man, everything else, and a good, strong black man, and take care of the kids." But she's so straight up. And you know what I did love too about speaking of Ashley and Quick? He was reading her book, and I think he was legit reading it. And I was like, that shit to me was just like, I love that. He was, this really is a
Yeah.
good book. Like, baby, I really read your book. It's really good. I'm like, okay. I ain't saying, look, he's a man. He may not read it. I mean, he may have, but I'm saying, but he probably read a chunk of it to know, wow. And then he's probably actually reading it to know, is there some things that he didn't know? You heard these, so just different.
Right.
That's probably why he's really reading it. Like, I want to really, and then hear from his wife thoughts. Maybe she did tell me this stuff, but to hear it in her own words, just typing it up, he may look at things differently. I just thought the part was cool that they showed that.
I
And
agree.
even with the part with the kids, look, I loved all that when he broke it down to his son. He broke it down very well about the jacket. When he said, "What if you would have went in the backpack and there would have been some arsenal in there?" I was like, I didn't even think at that moment because my kids are grown. I have to have those conversations anymore. You get creative, but I thought that was awesome and true. These days it's so scary, and even the fact he said maybe the guy would have said, "That's my thing," because if Jamie would have, I mean, sorry, if the young man would have opened it and like, he would have reacted. Everybody would be like, "Oh God, what's that?" It would have jumped in the bag. He could have easily said, "Oh, that ain't my bag. That's Jamie's bag." That's
Right.
true. Or if he didn't say that, and everybody was like, "No, that's not Jamie's bag," and he would have got caught with it after school or something, he made it told his boys that's in this stuff, use the weapon on him, shoot him. He snitched on me. So many things could have happened. So many things. So I love the discussions that are had with the relationship with the parents and the kids. I do. I really, really do.
I do too, because I think it adds a dimension to the show that shows that you can still have engagement. It can still be interesting. It can still, like, I almost really cried that first scene with the Tylers and stuff. So it's like it was really interesting without all of that, like, women fighting stuff that you see on so many of these reality shows. Like, it's kind of, it is a little bit different than what we're used to. I think it's nice to kind of see, families struggling with issues and working through them. And that
Yes.
can be as engaging as, what did you call me? What did
Well,
you,
yeah,
you know,
right. I mean, just to have these conversations, honestly, just to have the conversations about the show, I really, really love it because we can talk about the show and say we disagree about some things about the show, but then we have so many positive things to talk about it. So it's a really well-rounded cast and show. So I
and I
do
think they're
enjoy.
doing a pretty good job so far, kind of carrying the show without Monique, because I was kind of like, how is it gonna, what's the flavor gonna be without her,
Look,
because she was kind of, the star
I
that
I
brought
am
people
not gonna
together.
lie. And I think we'll discuss this next time the girls are here. I'm not gonna lie. I really thought about that too. And yeah, that's an interesting question. And then I'll say this too: if they bring the band involved as other characters, just because they're, like I said, they're a big band in DC, and to me, it would be so smart because I had no idea that tying in Joy and the fact that Ashley knows Sherelle, I just thought that was genius to put them together, even if it's distant friendship, whatever. The fact that
Right.
it's even that circle at all, it's like that. Because bringing the band in, I'm telling you, if they didn't do it, it's crazy. So much drama within a band. How can you not bring the band on and have a round table about what actually happened? Because really and truly, we've heard for Joy, and then eventually Black will speak, and then what about the rest of the band? Because we have to remember. You remember she said it was two bands that left,
Right,
and then he
exactly.
was
So I agree with you. I feel like, to be honest, in
two
order
band members. I
for
mean,
in order to be honest, in order for Sherelle to really have this is really her only interesting storyline. Like her randomly being mad at Arena is like going to be stupid, and
Mm.
her constantly trying to push Winter on everybody is also going to be stupid because we barely like you, Sherelle. So that's not going to work. But this is an interesting storyline. You know what I'm saying? It's not. It's sort of tangential, I guess, really to Sherelle, but it is interesting, and it would be a way to kind of keep Joy and Sherelle sort of their storyline. You know, it would be interesting to find out. Okay, well, what really happened? And it would be nice to kind of see if Black did do whatever for him to come clean on it. You know, and that would be great to kind of get some closure for everybody. So
I agree.
maybe they'll hopefully they had enough in the budget to pay them to do an episode.
Let me tell you something, and this is no shade to nobody or anything like that. No shade. But do you think that these people are like doing some big time shows where they would not have time? Girl, bye.
I know. I mean,
We had to look them up.
it would be
Now,
great.
mind you, they're probably now. Look, keeping it real, they from when we googled them, they looked like they had some sauce.
Right.
It's very obvious that something was, So what I'm saying, I say all that to say that in DC, they probably popping in a lot of places, maybe other places as well. And also it's the music. Now, it came out in the 90s. I was a teenager in part. I was
Do they
so
do
I mean,
go-go music? Is that the kind of music that
yeah,
they
yeah.
do?
So what I'm saying is I like all kind of music, but at that time I wasn't into that music. I was into rap and whatever, and I still am, but really big in hip hop. And they do hip hop too, and it's mixture. But I didn't get older until I got on the type of music that they play. And then I didn't go to bars and bands, see the live bands. That wasn't my thing.
Oh,
And they
okay.
were really popular. When I remember we Googled it, their popularity started in DC. Of course, in other places, but their circle was the DC. They could pull them DC probably now and they still would fill a house. But you know what I'm
Okay.
saying? So I'm in the South. I never heard of that. So I mean, I'm just keeping it real. But they
Yeah, I'll
were
have to check out their. I know we Googled them, but I didn't
we
actually
did.
listen to their music. So I'll go back and listen to see kind of like if is it like go go or is it I know she said she's singing and he's rapping, so it might
Yeah,
actually be
so
pretty cool.
and then to me at that time, I can remember when what's the man name from Tony Tone? He got with Dawn from In Vogue. I love that matchup, and they had like their band because Tony Tone has always been like kind of on the go go. So I've always loved their music. See, I've always
Right,
liked different music. But you have
right.
to understand, as a teenager, it wasn't like just so out. I mean, it was out, but not really out. Do you see what I'm saying? Tony was like to me a super chill group. I love their music, whether it was the little hot, the dancing ones they had or whatever, but or just or chill or jazz, just like
Right.
I mean, it was just, and they had rap, they had mixture of music and different instruments. I was really into hearing the tones of music. I've always been creative. I love to hear the background more of the actual song. I've always been like that. That's why you see I'm so creative, how I am with overlays and all kind of I like being creative. And so I just kind of feel like I looked up, I was like, damn, I feel like I missed out. I mean, but I know there's people who are in certain cities, like I said, New Orleans, that had certain groups that was out that people probably like a women or baby and all them came about. If you was in Louisiana, you knew about the Lil Waynes and all that. It wasn't until they got popular for the whole world to see, for people outside of Louisiana to know that. So you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
no,
Right.
I'm not comparing.
And there's certain
Lisa,
areas
I'm not
too.
comparing. Hold on, Lisa. I'm not comparing them to Tony Tone. I'm just talking about the type of music and the different things about it being um mainstream. But go ahead. Go
Also,
ahead,
I was
Erica.
gonna say like in also different areas, like you mentioned, like in New Orleans, Chicago. Yeah, we all have our local bands and also local sounds. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So there's certain music like I wasn't until I went to school in DC that I really heard go-go music. Like it wasn't played in Chicago. And then Chicago was all about house music. And then when I went to school down south, their sort of rap in New Orleans and Mississippi is very different than LA or New York. So everybody sort of has their sort of local stars that come up and then eventually hopefully blow up. And so that's the thing. We don't know what sort of opportunities Mumbo Sauce may have had before Black, kind of messed the group up. So, who's to say?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it would be interesting to have them get together and see kind of like what the other people feel about it.
Yeah. I don't know. That's what I think I really want to hear from hear from the band. That's what I want to hear from, honestly, because to me, hearing from the band is what, I don't know.
I agree with you, because I think hearing from the band is the only way that's going to squash it, really, because Black is going to, basically probably, try to either talk over Joy. We'll see what happens when they actually, I assume they're going to have a scene or something where they actually discuss it face to face. But it's like, okay, the other band members, it won't just be he said versus she said. It's going to be like, okay, how did you all see it? So that will make a big difference, actually.
It will. So we'll have to see what happens once. I mean, I'm really hoping, even because I don't think that they will bring them to the reunion, the band situation, but I just think it would be a really juicy episode if they brought them in, just to kind of, like I said, have like a round table, to just see how people feel,
I agree. Shout out to the producers. It would be way more interesting than this stuff with the winter you're pushing down our throats. So please try it.
Well, we'll see what happens. But Lisa says we definitely need the band perspective. But due to its, Ooh, interesting.
See, that would even make it better. That's what's gonna make it good, is they're gonna have that whole thing, and then Sherelle's gonna pop up at the end of the meeting, because she ain't gonna let him sit in there by himself. And then there's gonna be the other chick there. Well, he was messing with me while he was messing with you.
Look.
Oh my goodness, we give them so much free ideas, but it's okay.
We really do. They okay, they take Married to Love as well. You do know that.
Exactly. So it's like, all right, we just trying to help y'all out. We try to keep the ratings up.
Yes, exactly. Child, let me tell you, it's whatever. I guess. So anyway, yeah, I guess that's all I got. I'm gonna watch the last 5 minutes myself and see how it goes, child. All right, Mama. Hoping this time we have the whole band got together. I guess I went too late for them, but they'll be all right. I gotta work. All right, y'all. That being said, I'm about to get up out of here. Love y'all. Look, thank y'all for coming. Exactly. I forgot to use my girl this time. At least use one time. Here we go. Why is it not playing? There we go. This has been perfect for this episode because all the fight is going on. This is the Queen of Reality TV. All right, next time. Bye.